3 friends, 1 haunted mountain road, a witch that won't let them go. Are you brave enough to watch? The winter nights of Muzaffarabad were always long, quiet, and cold enough to make the bones ache, but that night felt heavier, darker. The silence itself was suffocating, pressing down on every sense, making the mind imagine things that shouldn't exist. The mountains seemed to breathe slowly, dragging time with them. Fog hung in the valleys like a living blanket, thick and unyielding. Snow clung to the edges of the road in fragile heaps, soft yet unwelcoming. In the distance, the forest looked alive, dark shapes stretching and moving between the trees, as if something was watching. I was returning from the northern areas with my 2 friends, Sikandar and Hasabi. We were tired after days of travel. Our bodies ached. Our minds wanted nothing more than the warm comfort of home. But none of us could have imagined that the events of that night would haunt us for years, screaming through our dreams. That night, something waited for us on the mountain road, something old, unnatural, and utterly relentless. It was around 11:30 when we entered Neelam Road, even in daylight. The road was treacherous, hugging the mountains, narrow enough for a single car to pass in some sections. At night, it became a dark tunnel of fear, a place where the slightest miscalculation could be fatal. The fog was already thick, swirling around the headlights like smoke. The trees leaned in as if to whisper warnings, and the snow beneath the tires made the car crunch and skid with every turn. Sikandar was behind the wheel, lost in his own thoughts. Occasionally his eyes drifted from the road. I nudged him, trying to keep him alert. "Hey, watch the road. One slip, and we'll be falling into the abyss," I said, my voice tight with unease. He chuckled, brushing off my words. "Relax, Faraz. I drive here every day. It's nothing new." Hasib, in the back seat, shivered and muttered, "I swear, it feels like someone is walking beside the car." I scowled. "Don't say things like that. The silence is already enough to scare anyone." But deep inside, I felt it too. Something was there, not rushing, not moving quickly, just gliding beside us. Every few seconds, a shadow flickered between the trees, almost touching the car, and vanished again. There was no sound, no footsteps, only the feeling, that icy, unexplainable sensation crawling over my skin. Minutes passed in silence. The world around us seemed to have disappeared. Only the soft hum of the engine, the crunch of snow beneath the tires, and the cold pressing against our chests remained. It was as if the mountains themselves had paused, waiting for something to unfold. Then, through the fog, I saw her, a figure, a woman, white clothes, hair wild and tangled, arms hanging limply, standing completely still, half hidden by the fog. We froze, our breaths caught in our throats. Sikandar muttered under his breath, "At this hour? What is a woman doing here?" Hasib tried to rationalize, though his voice shook. "Maybe she's lost. Maybe something happened." But my instincts screamed otherwise. This is not a place for anyone to be standing at night. Something is wrong. We stopped the car about 20 feet from her. Then, she moved slowly, painfully. Her head lifted. Her face emerged from the fog. Her face was not human. Hollow eyes stared into us, black pits where a soul should have been. Her lips stretched unnaturally, skin pulled over her cheeks, teeth bared in a grotesque grin. Hasib hissed, "Turn around." "She's not human." The road left us no choice. Behind us, the cliff, ahead. She stepped aside toward the trees, moving in a way that defied nature. Twisted, jerky, broken, as if her bones were bending the wrong way. Sikandar panicked. "We can't stop here. Oh God, what is that?" We accelerated, but as we passed a leaning tree, I saw her again, standing there as if she had teleported, watching, waiting. My hands trembled. How is she ahead?" Hasib whispered, trembling. She's following us. She's not human. Maybe a witch. Something from the mountains. We didn't argue. We just drove. The fog thickened. Visibility disappeared. It was impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. Then more shadows appeared, moving alongside the car, flickering in and out of the fog. Sometimes they were left, sometimes right, sometimes almost touching us. Sikander shouted, "It's keeping pace." I looked out, and my blood ran cold. She wasn't walking. She was floating, feet not touching the ground, moving as if gliding through air itself. "Faster, Sikander, faster," I screamed. Our speed climbed past 80, 90, 100 kilometers per hour. Yet she remained beside us, and then she vanished. We exhaled, thinking it was over, but relief was fleeting. Around the next bend, she appeared again. White dress, hollow eyes, twisted smile, blood dripping from her mouth. Sikander slammed the brakes. The car skidded dangerously close to the cliff. She advanced, snapping her neck inhumanly. Then she spoke, her voice hollow, echoing in the fog. "Go back. This road is not yours." We couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Sikander threw the car in reverse. She ran toward us, her arms like spider legs, her feet bent in impossible angles, her mouth stretching wider and wider. We barely escaped. But one truth became terrifyingly clear. She wouldn't let us go. The fog thickened. The cold sank deeper into our bones. Hasib tried reciting prayers, but his voice trembled, breaking the words apart. A stench hit us next. Rotten, grave-like, impossible to describe. I covered my nose. Where is that coming from? Sikander glanced at the rearview mirror, his face drained of all color. I followed his gaze, and my soul nearly left my body. She was inside, hanging behind the back seat, half her face pressed against the glass, hair floating like underwater, eyes staring into our very souls. Hasib screamed, "Oh God!" She's inside the car, her neck twisted, jaw cracking unnaturally, mouth opening wider and wider. Then came the first sound. 1,000 graves groaning, mountains crying, fog screaming. "Stop!" Sikander yelled. "Hold on." The car jolted violently. She disappeared, but her scream echoed in our minds, lingering, relentless. We drove faster. Breath turned to smoke. The windshield fogged. Then, words appeared. "Stop. One of you belongs to me." I shivered. Something ancient. Something relentless. Something that had been waiting in the mountains for centuries. The fog thickened further. A curve approached, deadly, and she was there again. Half her body torn, hair dragging, chest sunken, eye missing, neck twisted backward. The car screeched to a halt. She walked toward us, her feet twisted backward, hair slithering along the ground. And from her mouth came a man's voice. "One is mine." Hasib ran into the fog, screaming, vanished. Sikander and I froze, breathless, terrified. Then she appeared, again wearing Hasib's shape. Eyes hers, smile hers, arms impossibly long, voice blended. "I told you, one belongs to me." We hit the car into her. She exploded into smoke. Straight road, Muzaffarabad lights, warmth, safety, maybe. But then the phone rang. Hasib's number. The same chilling voice. One was mine. Now the second will come to me. Sikander dropped the phone. Fear etched on his face. He whispered, "Faraz, behind you. The fog. It's standing right behind you." I turned. Streetlight revealed her full form. Blood dripping. Cracked smile. Fingers brushing my shoulder. Whispering, "Now. It's your turn." The car trembled as if it sensed the presence behind us. Sikander's foot never left the accelerator. Every snow mound along the roadside crunched under the tires, sending echoes into the fog, but we could not stop. I kept looking back, heart pounding, catching glimpses of movement always there, just at the edge of vision, lurking in the dense, suffocating mist. Haseb whispered frantic prayers, words cracking under his fear, voice shaking like the leaves outside. This thing isn't human. It won't let us go. For as it will kill us. I tried to steady him, my own voice trembling. Keep praying. Speak. Anything. Just don't be silent. This silence will drive us mad. The car sped down the mountain road. Every turn felt sharper than the last. Every shadow seemed to reach out, to touch us. The fog was so thick that our headlights barely penetrated it. Stars had vanished from the sky. The night had swallowed them. The road became a tunnel of blackness, with death waiting at every curve. Then came the stench. Foul, putrid, the smell of decay so intense, it clawed at our lungs. Where's that coming from? I gasped, covering my nose. Sikandor looked at the rear-view mirror. His face had turned ashen, drained of life. I followed his gaze. She was there, inside the car, behind the back seat, half her face pressed against the glass, eyes staring into us, hair floating as if underwater. Hasib screamed, voice cracking, "Oh God, she's inside. She's inside the car." Her neck snapped at an unnatural angle, jaw cracking, mouth opening wider than any human should. Then, for the first time, she spoke, a voice that was not hers alone, not human. Thousands of graves screaming, fog shrieking, mountains weeping. Stop. Go no further, Risk Sikandar yelled. Hold on, don't look back. The car jolted, as if invisible hands shook it violently. She vanished from the back seat, but her scream lingered. It was inside our heads, vibrating through our very bones. I clutched my ears. The sound was deafening, not outside, but inside. The fog pressed against us. The words appeared again, written across the mist on the windshield. Stop. One of you belongs to me. The car swerved around a corner. Another shadow appeared. Another presence. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst through my chest. Then came the curve ahead, the deadly hairpin, and there she was again. Twisted, broken, her chest caved in, hair trailing on the ground, one eye missing, neck bent grotesquely. We slammed the brakes, inches from the edge. She moved closer, feet bending wrong, arms like elongated claws, and her voice changed. Deep, guttural, merged with Hasib's own. One is mine. Hasib, delirious with terror, ran straight into the fog, screaming. His voice shattered the night. We didn't see him again. Sikandor and I sat frozen, paralyzed. My lungs burned, my teeth chattered uncontrollably. Then I saw her, or him, Hasib's body but her eyes, her smile, arms too long, voice blended. I told you, one belongs to me. Sikandor hit the accelerator. The car rammed into the apparition. Smoke, fog, and an unearthly wail erupted. We barely stayed on the road, straightening toward Muzaffarabad's distant lights. Safety, possibly, maybe, but then my phone vibrated. Hasib's number, a message, or maybe a call. The same voice came through, terrifying, mixed with female and male tones. One was mine, now the second will come to me. Sikandor dropped the phone. His face was pale as death, eyes wide with fear. He whispered, trembling, "Faraz, behind you, the fog, it's right there." I turned. Streetlight cut through the darkness, and there she was, full, solid form, blood dripping, hair tangled, cracked, wide grin, fingers brushing my shoulder, whispering, "Now, it's your turn." I couldn't move. My muscles refused to obey. Breaths caught in my throat, heart hammering. I tried to speak, but no sound emerged. The fog swirled around the car like living smoke, pressing against the doors, the tires, the windshield. Shadows danced, forming impossible shapes, moving faster than the eye could follow. Sikander whispered again, voice shaking, "We can't stop. Not for anything. We must keep moving." The road ahead was invisible, swallowed by the fog. The mountain seemed endless. Every bend was a new terror. And then, movement. At the next curve, there she stood, or it, half of her body torn, hair trailing the ground, chest caved, eyes gone, neck twisted, a grotesque mix of human and something older, darker, a force older than the mountains themselves. Her voice, now mixed with Hasib's, crawled into our minds. One is mine, now the other. We could not stop, not even to breathe. The car skidded dangerously close to the edge of the cliff. Snow sprayed like shards of glass. Our tires left grooves in ice, but the road itself seemed to contract, narrowing, guiding us toward oblivion. Then she reached for the car, fingers elongated, claws scraping the metal. Cracks appeared in the glass. "Don't slow down? Not yet," I screamed. Sikander pressed the accelerator to the floor. The car lurched forward, tires screeching, engine roaring against the wind, and the scream inside our heads. The creature lost its grip. She shrieked, a sound like death ripping through the fog, and fell back into the night, swallowed by the mist. We drove without pause, straight down the mountains, past deadly bends, past the ghostly forest. Muzaffarabad city lights finally appeared, warm, familiar. Relief swept over us, but it was only temporary. Sikander stopped at a square. We stepped out, shaking, our minds still filled with screams, our bodies frozen by terror. Then the phone rang again, from Hasib's number. My legs froze. Sikander answered, voice trembling, "H. Hasib." Silence. Then the voice came, both hers and his, twisted together, deadly, patient, eternal. One was mine. Now the second will come. The line went dead. Sikander dropped the phone, his face a mask of horror I will never forget. I put a hand on his shoulder. It just wants to scare us. Hasib, he's gone. He's not coming back." But Sikander shook, voice trembling. "Farad, do you see? Behind your eyes, what is standing there?" My heart stopped. I whispered, barely audible, "What? What do you mean?" He shivered. "The fog. It's standing right behind you." I froze. Blood ran cold through my veins. Breath caught in my throat. Slowly, I turned. Streetlight illuminated her full form. No fog this time. Solid, real. She reached for me, fingers brushing my shoulder, blood dripping, hair tangled, cracked ghastly grin, and she whispered, voice low and cold, "Now, it's your turn." If you enjoyed this true horror story, hit like and subscribe for more terrifying stories. If your heart is still beating, you're not alone.